All right, we got to talk about this crazy drama surrounding Patrick Bet David and an influencer by the name of Dan Bilzerian. And I got to be honest with you guys, never in a million years did I ever think that Dan Bilzerian would go on Patrick Bet David's podcast and go viral for his hot takes on Israel, which, just to be quite frank, many of his takes not only do I agree with, after I heard him just speak the absolute unapologetic truth, I had to go and follow this guy. I'm like, I've heard of Dan Bilzerian. I don't really know too much about him. I've just heard his name here and there. But that guy just spoke straight facts, and you just love to see it. You love to see people go up against somebody who tries to play the whole neutral thing and just say, no, this is what's happening there, and we got to speak on it. So I'm going to play just a few clips from the interview that kind of went viral. And to be honest with you, I was pretty disappointed in Patrick Bet David. I think Patrick Bet David does a very good job as an interviewer. He has very good interviews. But I'm not going to lie to you. His problem here is he was just too careful. You could tell that he just didn't really want to speak too much on Israel because he didn't really want to give too many hot takes. And everybody knows why people don't want to speak on Israel is because a lot of the people like AIPAC, as you just saw, AIPAC is literally an Israeli organization, basically in the United States, that paid all this money to get a bunch of members of the squad literally voted out. You know, they put millions of dollars into different political campaigns like Ilhan Omar, who barely won, but she ended up winning. They were able to successfully get Cori Bush voted out, Jamal Bowman. I mean, like I said, these people got power. I don't care what anybody says. This isn't a conspiracy. You're not anti-Semitic because you say that these people have power. And if you speak against them or piss them off, they will use their power against you. It's just facts at this point. But anyway, let's go ahead and play just a little bit of the clip because, man, Dan Bilzerian spoke facts. Here we go.
Think the Middle East and the world would be a better place if Israel didn't exist?
Yes.
Okay.
Israel's committed, so many terrorist attacks. They're stealing land right now. They're operating apartheid. They're currently committing a genocide on Palestinians. Like, do you believe in the genocide they're committing?
I think they're fighting for themselves and they're defending themselves.
Do you think that's defense?
Well,
Terrible take by Patrick Bet David. It's too safe. So the problem is there's a lot of propaganda, and I think people need to really go and do their research because the propaganda is, oh, Israel's not committing genocide. They're just defending themselves from the October 7th attacks when Hamas went and attacked the people of Israel, which, by the way, a lot of the stuff that happened with the attacks, they just straight up lied. They said that babies were beheaded. Later, it came out that that was a lie. They said, a bunch of other horrible things were happening that just downright weren't happening. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not a Hamas apologist. I think Hamas is terrible and definitely 100% a terrorist organization. However, you can't ignore the context. Like, I can admit that Hamas is bad and Israel is bad as well. I don't think that you have to pick the side to tell the truth. I think the truth is both sides are bad because what they don't tell you is before the October 7th attacks with Hamas, Israel had been committing in just absolute apartheid / genocide on the Israeli people. On the Palestinian people, especially in the Gaza Strip for literally decades. It's literally like a silent genocide that very rarely even gets talked about in the news. As a matter of fact, it's literally been going on for decades. People didn't even really start really talking about it the way they are now until the October 7th attacks. And I just love the fact that Dan Bilzerian is not afraid to speak truth to power because at the end of the day, he's right. Sorry to say, but it's true. The world would be a better place I'm not going to say without Israel. I'm going to say the world would be a better place without Benjamin Netanyahu, who, by the way, he's like the Donald Trump of Israel, just so you guys know. Maybe I'll do a deep dive video on that, but the guy's got a bunch of controversy being investigated for a bunch of different things, all these allegations of corruption and a little bit of like money laundering and just all this weird stuff. Also, just like we have a CIA, Israel has an intelligence force called Mossad, who is very vicious. They murder tons of people that they view as threats. They torture people. They do all kinds of things that would be considered illegal by pretty much all standards. So, we just got to start telling the truth here. Just because you tell the truth about Israel doesn't make you anti-Semitic. It's just the truth.
When 1,200 people died, of which the 1,200 you've killed and admitted that you've killed a lot during, your Hannibal.
I will tell you this. The part I question where people who are Jewish can't stand when I say this. I don't know how you, Netanyahu, claim you have the best intelligence in the world, Mossad, and you didn't know that on October 7th they were
They
attacking
knew about it. They didn't. They wanted it to happen, so they had a reason to take that. Yeah, they wanted a reason to take the land.
I totally get it.
And they killed their own citizens.
But
and they
Their intelligence absolutely knew about it. It's always funny when people try to take the naive route. Oh, I just can't believe that our intelligence didn't know, that Israel's intelligence didn't know about the October 7th attacks. They absolutely knew. Come on now. Israel, especially Israel intelligence, literally has like the #1 best surveillance technology in the entire world. Go do your research. A lot of the surveillance technology that the United States uses comes from Israel. They are top notch when it comes to intelligence and surveillance tactics and surveillance technology. They are so good at it. Don't think for a second that they didn't know about the October 7th attacks. They absolutely did. Now, do I believe that they necessarily wanted it to happen, for their own reasons? I don't know. But it's just like 9/11. The United States government knew that 9/11 was going to happen, or at least they had an idea. Like a lot of these attacks that happen, typically intelligence knows about it. They just fail to act. Even look at the Trump shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks. There were so many signs early on, even like minutes before the actual assassination attempt happened with former President Trump, that, law enforcement or Secret Service or FBI, whatever you want to call it, knew about it, and they just failed to stop it. That is typically what happens in these situations. Typically when these situations happen, intelligence knew about it. For whatever reason, they just failed to stop it. That is typically how this stuff goes.
They claimed that all these people got raped. That was bullshit. They claimed beheaded babies. That was bullshit. Everything that they said was a fucking complete. Not only was it a lie, but they committed all those atrocities themselves to the Palestinians and been caught doing it. In fact,
he's absolutely right about that. There is literally a video that just came out. You could literally go look it up on Twitter, or you could just go on Google and search it. There was an actual video that got leaked, and it's a real video, and it shows a Palestinian getting raped by a Israeli, person, a member of the Israeli Defense Force, a Israeli soldier, literally on video, raping a Palestinian. Literally.
The fact that they just got caught gang raping Palestinians, how many babies have they killed? All the things that they accuse the Palestinians of, or Hamas of, or whatever, they're guilty of 100-fold themselves. And they've been doing that. Like October 7th wasn't the start of this. Like the start of this was Nakba. They've done so many.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, so I mean, this is not like, it's not like October 7th is like, it's all of a sudden they just came over there unsolicited and just killed people. Like they have been killing Palestinians for years and years, operating two sets of justice. It's like,
he's so right about that. It's crazy. I would have never expected him to speak truth to power like this. But, they really try to make you think that, oh my God, us innocent Israelis who did nothing wrong were victims of terrorist attacks by Hamas. We did nothing wrong and we got attacked. And, it's just sad because there were definitely innocent Israelis who got attacked. But that doesn't mean that the attack was just random. Like the Israelis absolutely have been committing genocide and apartheid on the Palestinian people for a very long time. And eventually Hamas, which is, that's the organization that pretty much runs the Gaza Strip, they finally got the one up on Israel and they attacked them, which, again, that is awful and very bad. But you still can't ignore the fact that what the Israel, first of all, the October 7th attacks don't even really compare to the atrocities that the Israeli people have been doing to the Palestinians, again, for decades.
Like they have the justice for the Palestinians and the justice for the Israelis. And if you read the Talmud, like, if you're not Jewish, you're basically not a human. You're like, like cattle. If a Jew.
All right, let me go to another part. So he talks about like the protests, and then after that, I'll wrap up the video.
But the moment it was Israel, now all of a sudden,
why do you think they were okay with that?
The shit beat out of them. They get arrested. They get pepper sprayed. They get fucking maced. And those are peaceful protests. BLM was not peaceful. But it was fine because it wasn't criticizing Israel. What does that tell you?
Let me ask you a question.
Well, we'll answer that. What does that tell you? Who's in charge here?
But you're talking to a guy that I'm not sitting here saying with BLM. I'm talking to you like you and I. I'm not talking to you with $2-3 billion of damage they did to small business owners in communities that African Americans are living in and who controls mainstream media. And there's only two outlets right now. We're talking to a couple of your friends here that were during lunchtime. We're having a conversation while we're having dinner with who controls mainstream media, the left. The only one that's on the right is one. Okay. And that's also going to the left. Who controls CNN, CBS, ABC? That's left. Who controls universities? Left. Who controls schools?
Well, it's like 90-something% Jewish.
Right. So,
I mean, we could say left, but it's Jewish if we're being honest.
Not necessarily, because even right now, if you think about it, if you think about the right and the left, okay, who's taking the biggest hit with losing Jewish voters?
All right, so yeah, like I said, after what we just saw with AIPAC literally pouring so much money into the elections to get these candidates, the candidates who are members of the squad to lose their elections, there's no doubt about it that whatever, I don't even know who's behind AIPAC. I have to do some research, but the bottom line is, if you speak out on certain things that they don't like, they will absolutely get you for it. And it's very sad, but we need more people speaking the truth about this stuff, because what's going on in Israel is truly a sad thing. And not only that, but it's become more than obvious that Benjamin Netanyahu does not want to do the two-state solution. He wants Israel to completely control Palestine, or Israel, whatever you want to call it. And that's just not going to happen. It's just going to be a forever war. The only way to get some sort of, ceasefire or peace over there, some sort of, I don't know if there'll ever be peace over there, but at least better than what we have now, is you're going to have some sort of two-state solution. Maybe I'll make a video on that another time, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. I haven't even scratched the surface of how deep this Israel-Palestine stuff goes, but I definitely have been researching it for literally a year or two now. And it's so interesting. It's so deep. There's so much that goes into it. And I think that one of the main reasons why there's no peace in that area is because of Benjamin Netanyahu. And yeah, so that's today's video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.